I asked myself the question, what have you done, Florence? And the reality is that despite the fact I like to think I was a fair boss, I never really went out of my way and reached out to help the causes to have more balance in business. That changed. I told myself I had to take action. And the Balance in Business Initiative was born. And I'm delighted to see the FTSE 350 companies making an effort to change the status quo. And we are celebrating all of you today as a result of it.
Throughout my 30-odd plus year corporate career, the number of women serving on public listed boards had not increased one jot in all of that time. Well, how things have changed in just a decade, and how wonderful it is to be gathered here tonight in celebratory mode on this subject. Women's representation in leadership ranks now stands at 33%, with nearly a quarter of FTSE 350 companies having already met or exceeded the 40% target, leaving just 3/4 of companies with still considerable work to do.
Sometimes I hear people talk about what's the business case for diversity, and I do frown sometimes as to why we'd need a business case. The case for me is why not, actually, not why. But when I'm sitting in a boardroom and chairing boards, it's absolutely essential to have diverse thought around a board table and an executive team. And when I look at leadership teams, and when I'm asked about what the biggest concern is I have, it's that we have generations of brilliant leaders but who have not faced into high inflation, the level of geopolitical risk we have, the changing consumer behaviours, and goodness me, the change in technology and the pace of that at the moment. And no one group has the monopoly on wisdom.
But what we need is for senior men to stand up for women's representation and cover those who silently resisted and convert those. And the represented group should not bear the burden alone. It is the responsibility of those with power to create space, be visible, and celebrate the urgent change that is required. So to summarize it all, it starts from the top, but the real transformational work is unsexy and sits in the underbelly of the organization. Remember to deal with it with the rigor of a business problem. Breed allies, especially men. They need to step up, change the rules, and then make room. And if you can, make your commitments publicly. And finally, remember, data is great, but lack of it is not an excuse.
It started as a mentoring organization for women executives, how to help them in their careers. So making a real impact, one person at a time. And so then the big board asked itself the question, is it possible to help women not one at a time, or a dozen at a time, or 100 at a time, or 1,000 at a time, but tens of thousands at a time? So tonight, let's celebrate your successes. Congratulations, the winners: Halma, HSBC, Pennon, Diageo, Law Debenture, Tate & Lyle, the Schroders, M&S, Tesco, Lloyds Banking Group.
Awards matter because they provide visibility. Other companies need to see what they can achieve.
I know that for all the people in this room, the receiving of recognition is only secondary to our common mission, which is to foster gender balance in business.
Our challenge is to create an environment where change really can happen and for it to be truly inclusive.
And the Institute will play our part in making sure that we can celebrate and we can encourage and we can enthuse the next generation particularly of women, to take up the cudgels of leadership.
But it also makes 2023 a year for us all to reflect, not just on what has been achieved, but for many, many more people to now pick up the baton and take this work forward.
We're not lowering the bar here, we're widening the gate simply to let more talent in.
Thank you very much for sharing your journeys with us. I hope to see you all back here next year with even better results.